In today's episode, I'm going to catch up with a former student who has started his own business and see how he is today in his current role as a safety coordinator and part-time safety consultant.
This episode is powered by Safety FM.
Hi, I'm Sheldon Primus. I'm here to help you learn the business of safety consulting. This podcast, The Safety Consultant, will give you the tools to be your own boss by protecting the safety and health of others. It's a win-win. But before this episode, here's a message from our sponsor.
Do you feel that your knowledge would be better served if you were your own boss? Your knowledge can help more people improve their workplace safety. Most of what you know may be wasting in a job that limits what you can do for the overall health and safety of workers. Now is the time to start your own business while you're still working for your current employer. Start your own safety consultant business with the Safety Consultant Blueprint course. Get your business legal in just a week. Brand yourself as an authority in safety, even on a shoestring budget. No more stressing about how to price your services fairly, but still make a profit. And experience the amazing feeling of being your own boss. This 100% online video course is instructor-led and will give you detailed steps to keep you focused as to what to do next to grow your business. Lay out strategies to keep you maximizing your marketing and networking efforts. And explain how to get money in between clients. Register today at safetyconsultantblueprint.com and enter the code PODCAST.
Hi, everybody. This is Alan Wolford, owner of Safety Seconds, but we've upgraded and rebranded to Alan the Safety Guy. I'm a big follower of both the construction and the general industry side due to the fact that one leads directly into the other. So having been trained by Mr. Primus himself, I feel that that's where I started my period of excelling in areas I basically faltered and dragged on like anybody else. Big start, in actuality, was after taking Sheldon's class for costs. At the time, I was a construction safety manager for a large chemical plant in Greenville, Tennessee. But then after taking Sheldon's cost class, I saw a big demand for the type of training that Sheldon provided. And this was for the... Say again?
What area are you in?
Right now I'm in Greenville, Tennessee.
Okay. Oh. And is that mostly heavy construction, heavy manufacturing? What is that area?
Primarily, we do have a lot of contractors out here that do the heavy construction side. Most of the smaller construction companies work on chemical plants, manufacturing facilities with clients such as, let's say, United Rentals, manufacturing cabs for different types of vehicles, Worthington Industries working for John Deere, JLG. So a lot of companies that everybody's familiar with, but on the smaller side doing the specialty materials. But with the construction companies I've been working with lately, there's 9 of them. Basically, they do all brownfield projects for existing clients. And what they do is add on to existing facilities, build up for new hydraulic or automated systems. So a lot of stuff that we're seeing here now, especially with OSHA increasing on silica, is silica safety. Lockout, tagout, things that some construction workers never really dealt with previously, but with the new standards and with 5 of the new clients, it's working with mobile equipment platforms due to the new ANSI regulations coming up in December. So a lot of work ahead.
Yeah, for those that don't know, COS is Certified Occupational Safety Specialist. You know us with all our acronyms, right? You got to get those down, right? All the acronyms.
Yeah.
I get lost in the acronyms, you know? What was the catalyst for you? You said the cost class helped you think about going on your own, but what was the push? Well, after that class, what was like the second week, the third week after you sunk in what the class was about, as well as your direction? What was the catalyst, the pushes that got you into thinking I could do this?
And that's an excellent question. And to be quite honest, the day after we left your class, we were heading back. I got notified of an incident that occurred on the project site that I was working on in Greenville. The contractors said, hey, after hours, would you mind giving our guys some training on this? And using the methodology you gave us, I said, yeah. I said, but where's your safety guy? And the safety guy was like, you know, I'm a 500. I know construction like the back of my hand. But I deal with guys out in the field, and as soon as the plant comes up, we bring a guy in under general industry because that's his forte. Yeah. And after taking training, after having that call, and the next 8 weeks, working with guys after hours, showing the stuff that you showed us in the cost program, working with the general industry guys, because they kept saying, well, how do we know that this is good behavior? And using the same information you taught us on BBS, you know, that was just huge. The reason the guys would do certain things is because everybody else blocked their path, so they'd climb over or they'd find other ways around that were not safe.
Yeah, work's got to get done, and they're going to find a way to get to work, right?
Yeah, and that was the issue. Yeah, luckily, when we talked with the general industry guys, they quit setting up danger barricades without contact information, so that the guys would quit trying to find other ways into the area. You know, and they knew that they could be terminated for it, but they had, like you said, you know, the push was on to build this plant, build it safely, but get two different, you know, backgrounds and two different standards to work together. And because of that, once the plant came online, it was so successful. Our injury rate, when I took over the safety program, and I'll send you some of the documentation, just, you know, so we could show guys that have taken your class how effective it is. The insurance industry sent a group of people out there, and I say the insurance industry, the ones with this program, it was an OSIP program, came out, and we had 100% pass site-wide. Because we told the guys how important it was for record-keeping training, because I'd done weeks of it afterwards. Injury rates had dropped. I can't tell you how many incidents went down. I'm sure we had near misses that were not reported. And that's the way it is in construction. Some guys just are not going to admit to it.
It's typical because they think they're going to get in trouble. So
exactly. And that's part of that behavior program. They saw with the OSIP site, certain things, you know, if it occurred, you had the training and the information, you were terminated. So we turned that around and said, no, if you report it and you save another person, you do this. You know, we actually built them up and took them with the group. So what they've got documentation, I'll have to send you a copy of. The injury rate was approximately, the recordable injury rate was 1 every 3 months. I can't remember how many where they reassigned to like tool rooms and stuff. When I took over and actually worked with the company and worked with the contractors, it dropped down to, we had a single recordable in a year. And what had happened, it was actually a low operator had a heart attack and drove into a ditch. So it's not toot my own horn. It was, what I'm trying to say is the reason it was so successful was your class taught me how to incorporate the training everybody needed, how to cross both boundaries and say, hey, this is our limit of training. Here's what we can and can't do. What do we need to do on the general industry side? And
so that gave you the confidence to go ahead and I forgot the name of your first business because you just changed it to Allans to Safety Guy.
Yeah,
but
Safety Seconds. Safety Seconds, yeah.
Yeah, Safety Seconds. So that gave you the confidence to start Safety Seconds.
Yes, sir. And in the closing of the construction project, because what you taught me was so successful, and because I took it a step further to do cross-boundary training, I was hired as the safety and superintendent. Me stepping out had numerous job offers, and I said, no, this was such a successful program. Let's get involved with more construction guys, and it took off. I've trained in 4 different states, primarily Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, and the Virginias. And it was people that were in this area that worked on the projects that said, hey, if you start to see your programs falling, give this guy a call. And that went from working out of state to working with various counties. Hamlin County here in Tennessee, I don't want to say how many violations they had, but they had some circumstances. And one of the mechanics that took my OSHA class said, hey, let's get this guy to fix this. And it took off.
Well,
the rest is history.
Now, I always push getting cities and counties and your local municipalities to be part of your client base, because they truly, when they get safety, they'll stick with you. And I, even now I still get calls with people who for safety and health training. So how did you get initially, how did you get that hookup, that connection to get into the state, into the county system?
Okay. Initially, when one of the guys that was working for them, he had actually been on the project I was on. He had talked to his foreman, who was over road construction. They had just received their citation. They were actually looking from somebody from University of Tennessee to do their training that was part of the school system to come out. And one of the concerns with the business manager for the county was that, okay, we're going to get OSHA training. They're going to come out with a PowerPoint, and they're going to stick with that because it's safe. We need somebody that's been in construction that could show us a lot of variances. That yes, this is this, but they did do a search for instructors through the state. I can't remember that old website that would list OSHA instructors and other instructors.
Yes, I remember that one. That was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was great because they could, the individual could list all the different things that they trained on. Why that went away, I don't know. The next biggest thing was LinkedIn. People on there asking for references. They'd ask why, and they'd say, "Oh, we're going to have them do training." And then they said, "Hey, that reminds me, we need some annual training." And so they hired me again, and it was just back and forth. But developing my own webpage or blog was a huge asset, especially when I could put clients' permission, put their names on and say, what type of work did I do? Give them access to my reviews, and I gave both bad and good. Because I think that if you show all good, they're wondering, well, what part are we not seeing? So having that being open and letting them assess it themselves, I think really helped me, because they said, what have you done differently since then? How do you deal with that?
So now that you're you took a full-time job and you have your job part-time, or your business part-time, what's your is there a takeaway that you did in learning that transition?
Well, one of the reasons that I went to the full side was to help out the company. I couldn't do that for various reasons as a consultant or as a contractor for them. In part, I took it in order to have some downtime, stay local, handle other contracts I had. I still do it on the weekends for those that may have to take a full-time position. But with the HAZWOPER training and some of the clients I can't discuss on that side due to the reasons that they have HAZWOPER. Some of the takeaways I had, the consultant contracting business, you're going to be very busy. Right now with some family members that need constant attention, I had to step back the range of travel. And, once you do that, it affects your income. So I went in with the company that not only utilize my training, utilize my services, but liked it so much that all their clients have been given notice that on the weekends I do training and have offered their training center so that their clients don't have to pay for one. So still doing the training, still doing audits after hours for a lot of the clients. But yeah, there came a time and point where the family obligations got to where it impacted.
Yeah. That's strategic. So you have to.
Yes.
You have to do that for your family, and it's actually, and just hearing it from your end, it looks like it's still going to benefit you in the long run when you're ready to go back full time. So this is a win-win, because I'm sure it's going to give you some extra stability financially and all the other ways if they give you insurance and all that stuff, and you get to grow your business continually at the same time.
Yeah, that's correct. And one of the other benefits to this, Sheldon, to be honest with you, is like, I'm going through the online academy that you presented, but where some of my other annual certifications are coming up, the COS, the CSM, I can focus on making sure I have the latest information, that when I go into training, I have that availability. Not turning down clients for, I'm sorry, I've got to redo my certifications. So it's good that it gave me that pause to do all that, develop myself to be more beneficial to my client base later on.
Regardless, not even the training, like if you have a current situation happening at the job right now, ocean compliance question, anything, I'm at your disposal. See what I can do to help. And if not, we'll look it up live.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, right now, my biggest thing, I am getting more and more general industry, but yeah, I'm trying to actually research for one of the clients that we're working with. And I did this with Kellogg's too, but Kellogg's had an exceptional program built in. But about combustible dust, the client is asking our people to help them develop a program. They make rubber and gaskets and stuff. But their concern is because they saw on the Chemical Safety Board, the CSB video, about a facility in North Carolina. But where would you suggest? Oh, did you? Yeah, they had some interesting stuff. But where would you suggest getting good information on, how to prevent combustible dust? I know it sounds like it'd be easy, but their concern is we have to clean as we go. We can't shut down operations. And I said, well, that's going to be a unique challenge for us to try and set this up.
Well, it's the hands down the best resources coming from ANSI. So you'll have to look up the ANSI standard on combustible dust. I can't remember it offhand right now.
I can't either.
But they actually have the cleanup criteria in inches. So you could see if you put in your policy that at a certain inch of accumulation of dust or accumulation of combustible material, we're going to have to do cleaning. And it's the cleaning not only on the floor, it's the rafters are your issue, because it's those secondary blasts are the big issue. So if that's where the accumulation of dust is the most, so you might end up having to do like slow production time, give them some sort of give them a protocol under slow production, or just say, are you guys committed to hiring someone to do this instead of you shutting down and cleaning? This is how much it would affect you if the whole facility blows up. Are you opposed to, let's shut this part down and let's hire someone to clean this section, and then we'll just keep working it and outsource it?
I like that. That's excellent. Yeah, one of the things they asked me about, because I used to work with asbestos when I was working up in Alaska, was asking, would it be possible to set up sections of the plant and basically, envelope that work area to prevent dust from transferring into other workstations? And I said, well, yeah, we can always do something like that. But, we'd have to look at everything involved with that. How are you getting it down? And they said, well, usually you blow it off. And I said, no. You don't want to put it back into the air. You're making fine particles now. So, explain to them about vacuum systems, wet method, similar to silica to keep that dust level down. And so, yeah, I was hoping you had more information, and I'm glad you just responded with the ANSI standard because that's huge. But also, I guess I can pull from HACCP, not that it's food grade, but they actually have a lot of information about contamination, how to clean up that I may be actually able to use. So, see, you just helped me again.
So the NFPA is really good because they do give you a lot of specification on how to realize when you're in a dangerous situation is really what and how to avoid that. So I would use that one.
And that's good you said that too, because in the video we showed them from the CSB. Yeah, brother, that it's the little things like that. I mean, on the construction side, talking about the silicas and table one and getting the guys to look and see different things. Yeah, this is a benefit. I'm going in on a new level, not looking at their electrical, not looking at stuff, but now having to face new challenges for people that are going to be going in and getting involved with, say the cleaning of this combustible dust and, again, working with them on fall protection because of the new MEWP standards coming up and trying to get all this put together.
Yeah.
So,
and quite honestly, your justification, you could just use two things. One, you could go back to the OSHA safety pays and look at the safety pays and say, this is how much a burn would be, just one burn. And you can look up the one burn and see how much that'll cost them. Not only explosion. So I do like, I in my quotes, I actually do an example of, like, for instance, if I'm doing lockout, tag out, I'll show them, all right, this is what we're going to do. One electrical shock at a 5% profit margin, it's going to save you X amount. My price is a lot better than this amount here. So here's the first thing I would do is I'll go ahead and look here. So one burn, as you can see, the direct cost, let me get closer for you.
Was that 48,000? Oh.
Yeah, 48,000 is the indirect cost because they may say insurance is going to pick it up. That's this cost over here. That 43 is insurance cost, the direct cost. But the stuff that they're going to have to pick up is going to be the 48,000. That's the things that's represented here to the background. And this is all the stuff that you already went through with the cost program, right? So this is, I would just go ahead and highlight this. Control C, copy it and paste this straight into your justification letter and show them these are all the indirect costs that insurance isn't going to pick up, and it's not counting the fines. And then then you could now show them that, hey, I am going to save you X amount of dollars just by having this system in place. And that's just a burn. If it was something else. And then the other thing for your justification letter, because I would assume you probably have to do that somewhere, is the good old data and statistics. They're manufacturing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you said rubber manufacturing?
Yes. Yeah. I can't give their name out, but yes, it's involved in rubber.
I'm going to look up an establishment search to see if there's any company that calls himself rubber manufacturing. And actually, there is a few. So I'm going to highlight their code here. Here's one company that's got six.
Look at that, 6 violations.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. Here's one in Tennessee, Ames. So I'm going to look up Ames real quick so we could see what their citation was. If they're in Tennessee, you would probably be looking at the same type of citation. So let's see, 212 says machine guarding.
HASCOM down below. Yeah.
2 HASCOMs over here. And whatever your Tennessee rule here is this. But they've got a couple of machine guarding ones, a mechanical power press. So that may not give you anything about the combustible dust, but we did highlight the code. Let me check this one here. All 3 of them were complaints. You notice that?
Yeah, I did. I when I saw that on there, when you scroll down, I was like, okay.
Yeah, so here we go. All right, I bet you this one might be the combustible dust, but let me check the other standards real quick. So here's working surface, lockout, tagouts. No, 7-4. That's HAZWOPER, isn't it?
1200's HAZWOPER, or hazard
What is it?
communication. Yeah, that 1910 1200 hazard communication. Let's see.
Hazard communication. What's 170? 178. Isn't that that might be your HAZWOPER? Oh, nope, powered industrial truck.
Forklifts. I should remember that.
See? Fail. I didn't remember it either. So,
I'm going to go back to school.
147. What's that one? Is that lockout, tagout?
Yeah, 147, Lalo.
Yep, lockout. So I'm surprised I didn't get that. All right, so let's go back here, walking and working surface. So chances are this may be, it won't be combustible dust, or else it'll be in subpart H, but there might be some sort of accumulation of the walking and working surface. They don't tell you.
Yeah, usually with rubber, you got that carbon black material that causes a very slick surface, plus the oils. So, yeah, it could be, well, they got a serious on that too.
Yeah, so even if you're going to go with the cleanup for the actual condition of the place, the walking working surface side, this is $2,008 in, I think this one was Alabama. But either or, you could at least say, can we hire somebody for $64,000 to do some of this work, or $6,400, excuse me, and then the other one was like $48,000. So if we could avoid a burn, or if we could avoid a citation on the housekeeping, then it might be worth your while to, do this. And that's the approach I would go with for getting your justification. I'll do one more thing here with the data and statistics, and I know you've got your workers out there, and I do actually have to run them. But let's do an industry profile with the NACIS code, just so we could let's see if there's any mention of this. So I copied the code from that initial establishment search.
Right.
So for the rubber manufacturing, it looks like a tagout is very top citation, and flammable and combustible liquids down there, but I don't see combustible dust that high. I see combustible and flammable liquids.
Yeah.
1904. That's strange. The record keeping one there too. So it looks like the highest one, the only thing that they'll be applicable would probably be this one here, which would be the walking and working surface violation. So that was one citation for 1,100.
And what was the page you used to look up that SIC code, Sheldon?
Once you go to...
that's NAI. Okay, I thought it was SIC.
Yeah, it's the NIC gives you a little bit more. So let me go back. So it's on the data statistics page here. And then you want to go to frequently cited standard right under the general duty standard search. And then you can just paste in that code. So that's the best way, I think, you can find that out. Maybe that'll help, and let me know what you think, or at least if you could get that worked out. I'll be glad to help you out on that.
I appreciate it, Sheldon, and I appreciate the opportunity to interview with you.
This week's tip of the week is to use OSHA as one of your reference points, but not just OSHA. You want to make sure that you go to anything else that's applicable, and the best way that you could find out other applicable standards, especially if they have been through the vetting process of OSHA, is to look at Section 6 of 1910, 1926 in general industry or construction, you want to find information that's incorporated by reference. So that means OSHA says entities such as the National Fire Protection Association or Compressed Gas Association, someone like that, they've got so much information about certain chemicals, certain processes, certain procedures, that their guidance is even better than what we could put together. So we're going to use their pamphlet, their booklet, their voluntary standards as if it is OSHA's standard, and we're going to incorporate their documents into OSHA's standard, and it'll be incorporated by reference. So look for an incorporation by reference, and then go to that particular entity, look at the document that's being incorporated by reference, and use that as another backup to your justification of services, as well as something that you'll include in your written programs, your training, any of that. So just know that OSHA isn't the end-all to be-all. You've got a lot of other entities out there that could really help you understand how to be a better consultant. So look for incorporations by reference first and foremost to see if there's another entity that OSHA has already talked to. And then to back that up, I would talk to if there's an operator at a facility that's been doing the work, or someone that's actually has more experience than you in the process. Talk to them, get a good understanding of what they do, how they do it, and find out from them if there's any resource or reference that they go back and they refer to help them with their job, or they would give to a new guy for training. So that document as well, whatever it turns out to be, you can use that as another justification for your recommendations, and then it also gives you another back insight as to a holistic view of whatever that problem is that you're trying to solve. It's not every safety consultant can solve every single problem, so that's why you need to go back to resources. And when I say not solve every problem, I mean by memory, or just right off the blue without doing research. Part of our job is to go back and do some research and really find out what other documents outside of OSHA standards have to say, because again, OSHA standards are minimum standards. That means, bottom line, that's the standard that you should minimally hit. You want to get to standards that are going to be higher in quality, meaning some of these other entities. ANSI is another one, the consensus standards, we call that. ANSI's documentations, they go really in detail, step by step of how to do particular things. And even if it's like equipment, they'll show you exactly how to make sure equipment's been tested and rated correctly. You're not going to find that in OSHA standards. So go beyond OSHA. First, look for incorporation by reference. That's section 6 of each standard, especially general industry and construction. And then you should also talk to an operator, talk to someone that's doing the job. What resources do they go to? And then the other thing might be just go ahead and just look it up. Look up something in the American National Standards Institute, ANSI. If it has to do anything with fire protection or equipment that can cause fire, then you're going to want to look into National Fire Protection Association. If it's electrical, go to the National Electrical Code. If you're not in the U.S., then you could also find other entities in your country that are outside of your regulatory body, just so that you could get a good understanding of other professionals that can help you, and other material that can help you as giving you a clear understanding how to advise a client. So that is the tip of the week, and I will see you next week, next Monday. So enjoy your week and go get them.
This podcast is being sponsored by safetyconsultantblueprint.com.
This episode has been powered by Safety FM.